All right, let's get right into this. We all tend to blame forgetfulness or that feeling of brain fog on just, well, getting older. But what if I told you that's not the real story? What if some of the most common things in your medicine cabinet right now are silently and quickly harming your memory? I mean, just look at this. Let it sink in. 99%. That suggests that for almost every single person over 60, there's a hidden danger to their memory just sitting on the bathroom shelf. And we're not talking about some rare experimental drugs here. We're talking about pills people take every single day. And this number, wow, this is why we absolutely have to talk about this. Some research has shown that one very common type of drug can cause the memory centers in your brain to shrink by over 28%. And get this, in less than a year. That's not a gentle decline, folks. That is a free fall. So we're going to count down 9 of the most common offenders. But here's the twist. The biggest threat isn't any one of these pills by itself. You're going to want to stick around because at the end, we're going to reveal the #1 hidden burden that can actually more than double your risk of dementia. Kicking things off at number 9, we have diphenhydramine. You probably know it as Benadryl or the main ingredient in just about every PM sleep medicine out there. So how does it hurt you? Well, it works by blocking something called acetylcholine. Think of acetylcholine as the brain's memory chemical. It's like the messenger service that carries information for your memories. Blocking it is like shutting that whole service down. Suddenly, making new memories and recalling old ones gets incredibly hard, and regular use leads to a 54% higher risk. Coming in at number 8 are those super common heartburn meds like Prilosec and Nexium. What's so sneaky about these is that they attack the brain from 2 different directions. First, they can block your body from absorbing vitamin B12, which is absolutely vital for healthy nerves. And second, they've been shown to actually increase the buildup of amyloid beta plaques, those toxic gunk proteins that are the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. All right, number 7, bladder control medications, a big one being oxybutynin. Now, just like Benadryl, this is a powerful anticholinergic. But the real problem here is its scary ability to slip right past the blood-brain barrier, that protective wall that's supposed to keep bad stuff out. So it gets direct access to your brain's memory centers. And the risk, it's huge. We're talking a nearly 50% higher dementia risk after just 1 year. Now this one might really surprise you. Statins. Yeah, we've all been trained to think cholesterol as the ultimate villain, right? But your brain is nearly 60% fat, and it desperately needs cholesterol to build and repair its cells. When you aggressively lower cholesterol with drugs like Zucor or Lipitor, you might be accidentally starving your brain of its most essential building block. At number 5, we've got the anti-anxiety drugs like Xanax and Valium. They work by basically putting the brain into a state of chemical sedation. And sure, that might feel calming for a little while, but over the long haul, it's slowing down all of your neural activity. It makes it harder for the brain to learn, to adapt, to be flexible. It's almost like a chemical fog descends. And the numbers are pretty stark. A 51% increased risk of developing Alzheimer's. Number 4 is an older medication called amitriptyline, which is often used for things like nerve pain or even sleep. The key word here is potency. This drug is one of the single strongest blockers of that memory chemical acetylcholine that's still commonly prescribed. And that powerful effect? Well, it comes with a very, very steep cognitive price tag. Okay, let's talk about number 3, Paxil. This one is so important to understand because it's a very popular antidepressant, but it has a crucial difference from others in its class. It is the only common SSRI that also has significant anticholinergic properties, that memory-blocking action we keep talking about. That one detail makes it a much bigger risk to your cognition than many of its alternatives. And at number 2, antipsychotics. Now, this is truly alarming because these are often prescribed off-label to older adults for something as simple as agitation. These powerful drugs work by suppressing dopamine, and dopamine isn't just about feeling good. It is absolutely essential for what we call executive function, your ability to plan, to focus, to recall information. The effect is nothing short of devastating. So, wow. We've just walked through some serious heavy hitters, right? Each one carries a pretty scary risk all on its own. What could possibly be more dangerous than any one of these pills? And here it is, the #1 culprit. It's not a pill at all, it's a situation. It's called anticholinergic polypharmacy. It's basically a fancy term for the silent, creeping, cumulative effect of taking multiple different drugs that all happen to block that same vital memory chemical, acetylcholine. It's a dangerous cocktail that puts an unbelievable burden on the brain. Just look at this chart. This tells the whole story. It shows you exactly why this is number 1.
See that jump? That's not a small increase. A high anticholinergic burden from mixing these kinds of drugs doesn't just bump up your risk a little bit, it more than doubles it, a staggering 120% increase.
And it's so easy to see how this can happen without anyone realizing it. If someone takes a Benadryl to help them sleep, then their doctor prescribes oxybutynin for bladder control, and another doctor gives them amitriptyline for some nerve pain. Each prescription seems totally logical on its own, but when you put them together, you've created a perfect storm that puts a massive, crushing load on the brain.
Okay, I have to pause here because this is absolutely critically important. Please hear me on this. Do not, under any circumstances, just stop taking a prescribed medication because of what you've learned here. That can be incredibly dangerous, even life-threatening. The point of this is to become informed so you can have an intelligent conversation with your doctor, not to make sudden changes on your own. So, what do you do with this information? You take action. Here is your plan, step by step. First, make a dedicated appointment, not your annual physical, just to talk about your meds. Second, gather up every single bottle you take, and I mean everything, prescriptions, over-the-counters, vitamins, supplements, the works. And third, and this is key, use this exact phrase: could you please calculate my anticholinergic burden? That's the magic password that opens the door to a real conversation about safer options and a plan for what's called deprescribing. And the best part? There is good news here. You are not trapped. For nearly every single one of these high-risk drugs we've talked about, there are newer, safer alternatives that don't carry that same cognitive price tag. You can see a few examples right here, from different antihistamines to modern antidepressants. The goal is to start that dialogue with your doctor and find out what's right for you.
And let's end on this, because this is the most powerful and hopeful idea of all. Drug-induced cognitive decline, it's often reversible. Think about that. When you lift that chemical burden off the brain, it can often bounce back. It's not that your mind is gone forever, it might just be sedated. And knowing that, well, that changes everything.